All right.
YOLO.
It's the mad scientist. He's here in the lab. Ah! That came right out real good.
It did.
All right. Before we dive into the brakes, we need to finish installing all the suspension components. We've got the rear diff.
Your bushings.
Yeah, we gotta get the bushings on.
In.
So, got the rear diff and the subframe. We've got the heat shield on, the gas tank, or whatever shield. And now we're gonna put the subframe and rear diff all up in.
LSD, BFH.
Yeah, it's in. Here we go. Yeah. I was presenting
hey,
the
I didn't know
finish.
what was going on either.
Yeah. Rear diff's up in there, looking real nice.
Car
Subframe's up there. Look at car ran real good.
Car ran real good. Everything ended up fine.
First Volk lower control arm on. Looking real nice. And we're well on our way to having a rear suspension. Okay, so before we go any further on the rear suspension, we got to put the axles in. But before we do that, we've got to put the new axle seals in. I'm putting some gear oil on the diff side just because I hit this with mineral spirits and it's really dry. So when you have an LSD rear diff on these, the longer one goes on the passenger side. That's in. Now I can put them in the hubs and then finish the control arms in the back. So now I've got some wheel bearing grease, but I'm just gonna put, I got way too much, on these splines so that this doesn't seize like all of these things do. I don't want it to get rusted anywhere it's seized, so when I start making 800 horsepower, I'm gonna need to upgrade these rear CVs, so I want it to be an easy job, you know. Grease. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put back on the rear parking brake. So that's a drum brake that goes inside the disc. So that's the parking brake. I've already got the cables fed back through here. So now I'll just put the shoes on. I'm not gonna explain how to do it because it's difficult. But if you wanna see it, there's a slipping time video right up here. If you click on that, you can check that video out. He explains how to do it. Let's put them on. That is the rear e-brakes finished. What a pain. I put the rotors on and adjusted this so these are dragging and then backed it off just a touch. So that should be adjusted. And yeah. Okay, so here's where we're at with the rear suspension. I've got a few things to torque down still, but all the control arms and everything are on. I didn't like the bolts I pulled off of these, so I need to order some new ones. And yeah, sway bar is attached. This is the RM Racing rear sway bar. It's a 24 millimeter with their poly bushings all greased up. I'm gonna go with the stock sway bar in the front and the beefier one in back maybe give this thing some less understeer. I'm not gonna say it's gonna give it oversteer, but maybe some less understeer. But yeah, shocks are on. Everything looks great. I've got this brake line on both sides. The parking brake is done. It's all hooked up. And yeah, everything's turning out great. Now we're going to put the front subframe in. It goes here. It's in. The subframe's in. It's all bolted in. That's what in means. Now I'm going to move on to the front suspension. I'm not going to attach the lower ball joints into the knuckle because I need to be able to swing it out to get the CV shaft in once we get the transmission in. But first thing I'm going to start with is the steering rack. I'll get the steering rack in, and then I'll move on to the lower control arms, and then I'll pop the knuckle in. So let's do that. Steering rack's in. It looks good. It's in there. It's solid. It's black, which just means that it's not rusty. I've never put poly bushings on a sway bar before, but I've been told that if you don't lube them, they squeak. So I lubed the snot out of them. Look at that glisten. Anyway, these are the Prothane polyurethane sway bar bushings for the front. Okay, that is the front sway bar attached. Gracie. Yeah, it looks good. This is the sway bar and steering rack all up in there. Looks good. Yeah. Very nice. All right, so here is the madness of brakes that are going on the car. We've got some rear brakes from an Evo 8 or 9, and these are 3000 GT VR4 front brakes. So these are gonna go on the front, these are gonna go on the back, but we need to rebuild them, clean them, reseal them, all the good stuff. And Brandon's here to help do it.
Back, guys. Got my mechanic hoodie on, mechanic island. Funny thing is, not a single mechanic on the island, no cars.
You checked.
I checked.
Yeah.
You can pick these up at pinisland.com.
Pinisland.com, not a sponsor, but maybe someday. All right, so yeah, we're gonna get to rebuilding these things.
Oh, it works.
Does it really?
Yep.
Whoa!
That one's out. Glad my finger wasn't there, right?
Wow! Wait, do you wanna? I think we need to
Take one out.
Yeah.
That puppy blusted.
Oh my goodness, it blusted it. Let's get to work. Where do you put your hand?
I don't know where to put my hands.
Do you want a glove?
Mm-mm. Here we go. And it was that one.
Was it really?
It was the one we needed.
Oh, good.
Yep.
These calipers are in rough shape.
Broke the wood again.
They are in rough shape. Oh well, we'll fix it. All right, so here is the before and after. It looked just like this, only it was this one. And this is after Brandon slaved away in the powder coat in the sandblaster. He did a good job.
I had a good time.
He did have a good time. Yeah, he did a really good job. Very, very meticulous. So we'll do this to the other 3 halves of these back ones and powder coat them, reseal them, and they'll be good to go. And we'll start on these too. These don't look as bad. All right, we're gonna try and get this broken off stud, well, bolt, out of here. I'm not sure how. We're gonna start with.
I think we need a bigger torch.
Maybe we need a bigger torch, yeah, and a screw extractor. Let's do that. There we go. That's a better torch. We'll cook it for a minute and get it hot and try the screw extractor. Alright, so we couldn't get it out. So I've got it drilled right now out. I was going to try and tap it, but it's not going to happen. So we're just going to helicoil it and it'll be good as new. Alright, there it is. I've got it helicoiled and it's good. So yeah, that's fixed. So here are the front brakes. I've got them apart. I've got the seals out. They're just going to take a little bath in the ultrasonic. Not too long though, because they're aluminum. So try and clean them up. Okay, so I'm making a decision here. Basically, I got these used and they're pretty beat up, as you can see here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to sand this flat, powder coat it, and then I'll put a decal on it, just like with the back. So, I know, but even if I coated this, it would still look pretty bad. Okay, there it is. That was 36 grit, which was pretty aggressive, then 120, 240, and then Scotch Brite, and it's very smooth, and I don't know, I think I did a good job. Okay, so I got these sandblasted. That way they should have the similar finish of the rears.
Now it's time to powder coat the brakes, starting with getting the rears all masked up.
All right, let's see what color the cookies are. Ooh, lovely. That's a nice purple cookie. Here comes another cookie. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the back brakes together. These are fresh out of the powder coating. And it looks like I left the old seal in there, so I'm gonna get that out. Running .5 brake fluid, so I can use regular O-rings on these instead of the special EPDM O-rings like these, like I pulled out. So yeah, just using a regular O-ring. This is a P7. It fits perfectly in here. It's not grabbing on anything, and it seals pretty well. This hole was all messed up when I got these. These were like $120, and they were in rough shape. So yeah, I had to helicoil this hole and drill and tap so many things. So yeah, this one's an M8 instead of an M6. But it's fine. I think the torque spec for these is like 37 foot-pounds, but that's kind of hard to do with it like this, and I don't want to put it in the vise, so I will do that when it's on the car. But yeah, that's pretty much it, aside from the decals. But yeah, good enough.
Installing the Evo rear brakes is straightforward on a 2G. All you have to do is trim the dust shield and get Evo rotors. The calipers bolt right on.
Oh,
1099.
Is that good or bad?
Should have went for 1107.
You think that .0 is gonna make a difference?
0.08.
This is Jeremy, and we're teaching him how to work on a car for the very first time.
The legal limit.
That's pretty good.
Now I'm over the limit.
We had to swap out these bolts because they were ugly. They looked like that. Got the calipers on, rear calipers are on, rotors are on. I gotta finish flushing out the old fluid in the hard lines before I plumb it up, and waiting on slide bolts here, but I've got the pads and the clips, but yeah. Okay, next I've got these adapters for the brakes. These are the RTM Racing first gen VR4 3000 GT adapters. I did have to just shave a little bit off right there. It was hitting the knuckle. I don't know if I put too much paint on or if it's just, you know, slight variations, but yeah, so I just ground that down, and then I powder coated these because they're bare steel, so I don't want them to rust, obviously, so I powder coated them black, and now we'll put them on. I went with 45 foot-pounds. There's no directions for this anywhere, but that seems to be kind of a middle of the road for this size bolt on a grade 10.9 around, in and around and on the hub. So that's what I torqued that to.
Moving on to the front calipers, they received the same powder treatment as the rears, so all that's left is to assemble them and bolt them up.
I think that's got to go in the hole.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm trying to. Hey now, like that.
Yeah, like that.
I know, but I was trying to get this in here first.
So does that go at like a 45?
I don't know. It keeps moving around. Good Lord. That way.
That way. A little more.
A little more that way.
I think you got to put them both in and then put the middle hole in the hole.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was trying to do before, but
Which way you want me to
squiggly bones
twist
over
this?
here keeps moving it.
And then you could just
up and
spin
down.
it like a clock.
Keep going. Right there, babe. Good
Babe.
job. Now spin it like a clock. Counter or clockwise?
Well, if it's a clock, I'd say clockwise.
All right, I can't get it. I'm
Wait,
done.
you're giving up?
I'm giving up. No.
You just got it.
I know.
I can't believe that's what holds those in.
I told you I'm a great reverse engineer.
You are.
I just don't know how to do the other stuff.
I just don't.
But look, so to me it looks like there's like a little spot, but yeah, no, that's it.
That's
As
it.
long as you don't turn those
Is there a
little
hole
things and
there?
you don't shoot out.
No, there's no hole on that side, so you couldn't
Was
do
there
anything.
some type of plate or?
No, that's how it sits. That's it. That's it.
We did it.
We did a whole
We
side.
didn't even need the internet. Over, under.
No, we need.
No, we used the internet,
Use the internet.
but
Internet
yeah.
rules.
there's one. The right side.
Ain't wrong.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Hurts your feelings. Look, this one just hangs out. Oh, man, you put that one in backwards. Why'd you do that? It's good.
No, it's good. It's easier than normal brakes. That's what they told me.
All right, show me where the fridge is.
I would agree.
All right,
It's right there.
let's get the fridge and then do the other
Looks
side.
Like a fridge.
Quit horsing around. Okay, those pads are in. Now let's take a break. Okay, here is the brake setup finished. VR4 3000 GT brakes. New hardware, And then I've got these lines are from RTM. They didn't actually fit in the factory brake line bracket. This holder here for the spring clip is flipped the wrong way. So I ended up just doing a stainless P cushion clamp right there, which will be good. And then we're up here to the factory holder, and this is a M10 by 1 to 3AN adapter, which then gets me to my 3AN line, which goes through a new grommet that I put there. And then that'll just go across and over into the proportioning valve. So that's how the front brakes will be. I'm gonna do the other side the same way. But yeah, I'm happy with that. And these say DOT on them. I don't know why someone thinks they're dots. They're clearly lines, but that's okay. We'll let it slide. We won't put a stop to it. All right, so I did some test fitment with the wheel, and this is the wheel that'll be on it. It won't look like this, but yeah, so it does clear. I'm gonna say that if I left those raised letters on, that it would have crunched them, grind them, whatever. But yeah, it clears pretty good, or enough anyway. And I love how much of the wheel that rotor fills. That looks great. So yeah, plenty of spacing here. This thing will be good. Get some 245s on these, maybe. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna show you the finished brakes. So here we are. We've got the decals on. You've seen all this. I got all of that secured, how it's gonna run. We've got all the bleeders in, and the rear brake lines are attached. See, we've got this nice little dot line going to the factory line, new clips. Same on the other side. So the brakes are fully attached and ready for fluid. I mean, I need a master cylinder first and then fluid, but yeah, really happy with how those turned out. Real happy. We're here with Brandon, and right now we just put the clutch master cylinder on, and now we're putting the clutch master cylinder fluid reservoir cylinder on. It's a billet bracket that I found from some guy who makes them on Facebook, and then this is a clutch fluid reservoir from a Yamaha motorcycle, a crotch rocket, and it fits. This is meant for a factory reservoir, but that reservoir's ugly, so we got this one. Brandon's giving it the old, I gave him the wrong wrench. That's what's going on.
That's what's going on.
All right, the clutch, master cylinder, and reservoir are done, and it's looking great. So you can kind of see here, there's a little sight glass right there, so I can see fluid, and the hose is just tucked up nice along the edge there. It's very clean looking. I like it. It's like, yeah, it's nice. Okay, the brake system is finally done. So I've got the master cylinder in here with the reservoir. This is a 3rd gen brake master cylinder. And I've got my 2 lines coming off here. And they come down, and I've got them held in there. And they come over into the prop valve. So that is the brake system fully done. I'm very happy with it. It's clean and it's good.